everyone. It's a little after 1, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming to the show this afternoon. It's getting nicer outside, so that's a plus. We have lots of fun trips to talk about today, so we'll get rolling with this. First, we want to make some introductions. I'll start real quick. I'm Rhonda, the manager of Northland Travel here in the Fort Dodge office. My office is just up the hall in the administration wing inside the Welcome Center. I've been in the business for 40 years next month. It'll be 40 years. So it's been an exciting career.
I'm Paula Templemeyer. I'm a retired school teacher, and let me tell you, doing tours sure beats teaching any day. I do most of the international trips. So.
Hello, I'm Rachel Mayo. I handle a lot of the marketing behind the scenes. I do a lot of sell sheets and presentations and the website, Facebook. I pretty much don't travel very much these days. Our extent of traveling is following kids in basketball and football. We know a lot of amazing gyms, but I do live vicariously through all the Northland travelers, and I enjoy posting the pictures to Facebook for all to see.
I'm Suzanne Sawyer, and I kind of got addicted to group travel with Northland about 7 years ago. And so I still work full time, but if Northland needs me to fill in for a group trip, I'm glad to go. And this year I think I'm signed up for the most trips ever with Northland, just to have fun with another travel buddy that I've met along the way.
I'm Kelly, owner of Northland Travel. I do love to travel, especially international and domestic also.
I'm Steve from Friendship Haven. I've been at Friendship Haven for 50 years. And about 15 years ago, the residents said we need to be more active. And I said, where do you want to go? So we went all around Iowa for a while. Then we went around the United States for a while. Can we go someplace else? So we've been doing overseas trips, and you're always welcome to join us. We got some material on the table, but we're glad to have you out here this afternoon.
And we have a couple other staff members that couldn't join us today. One is Deb Harkness. Her and her husband Jim have guided tours for us for around 15 years. They are buried in snow up in Minnesota, about 22 inches the last I talked to her. So she can't be here, but she's on the phone and ready to help anybody with questions after the shows. And then Merlia Schultz and her husband Terry, they have guided tours for us in the past also. A lot of the cruises and the international trips. They're taking a little leave of absence at the moment, but hopefully they'll be back soon. And then next up, we want to talk about Aero Stage Lines. For the domestic motor coach trips, we partner with Aero Stage Lines. Their motor coaches are very deluxe, very comfortable. They are the kneeling type coaches. The drivers are very good. They have to graduate in order to drive for the tours. So we were real thrilled that we could partner with them. We do also use CIT transportation out of Ames for like airport shuttles, sometimes shorter trips. So that's another company that we've partnered with along the way as well. I did want to mention that on these domestic motor coach trips, we do put a cap of 30 people per trip. Now the motor coaches will hold like up to 54. But we feel 30 is a nice size where people can spread out on the coach if they want to. And as we're going on tours and taking people places, especially dining establishments, the staff and that, if you get much more than 30, it's really hard to get in and out in a timely manner. So some of our tours, as we start talking about them today, we will tell you how limited they are on seats. We try and get the trips promoted as soon as possible We give early booking discounts if you sign up early, so a lot of times people take advantage of that and sign up early. So then as the first few trips we talk about, you might hear that there's 2 seats left here or 6 left here. And that's why, because we do kind of limit things.
Okay, do you have a real ID? If you renewed your driver's license in the last couple of years, you probably do. It has a little gold star up in the corner. On any of our trips where we fly, you will need a real ID, even if you're flying in the States. TSA is strictly enforcing it now. If you don't have a real ID, it'll cost you $45 to go through TSA, and then when you want to come home, it'll cost you another $45. So make sure you have that on your driver's license. Some symbols to look for: if you see the airplane, yeah, that means you're going to fly. Sometimes they'll fly within the states, and obviously the international ones will. And the passport is needed for the international trips. And
Before we start talking about the actual trips, I wanted to mention on the tables in front of you, there's a couple of different types of slips. One is a tour information sheet request. Some of these tours up here, we have all the pricing and the availability, but some that go into next year, we don't have the complete information yet. So if there's something that we talk about today that you're interested in, if you want to fill that little sheet out and let us know which tour you want more information on, as soon as it's finalized, we'll send it out to you. And then the other one is a bucket list trip. We can't go to every destination every year, but we like to know some of the destinations that you're interested in going to in the future. So if we get enough interest, we can look at taking tours to those areas. And if you need more, we have more of these slips up front here. Okay. The first trip up is the Celebration Bell Riverboat Cruise. This one is June 16th to the 19th. It's a 4-day trip. You're actually on the riverboat for 2 full days, but you stay in hotels for those nights. It's a very scenic trip, and there's always lots of entertainment and great food on the riverboat. And then towards the end, that last day, you get to tour Mayowood, because this ends in Red Wing, Minnesota, and then you'll be picked up by coach and taken over to the Rochester area where you get to go through Mayowood, which is where the home and the founder of Mayo Clinic lives. I guess it's quite a facility and area to tour, very interesting. Deb put this one together. She was been promoting it, and right now we have 6 seats left on it. So these are the first of a series of travel shows that we're doing. So Fort Dodge today, Waterloo tomorrow, and Ankeny Friday. So any of these with limited seats, you'll have the best chance if you're interested.
okay, next up is the Alaska Yukon Inside Passage, and as of this morning, this trip is sold out. But if you're interested, put it on the bucket list. We do this one almost every year. We're not doing it next summer, but we'll probably do it again in 2028. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because this one is sold out.
In July, we're taking a trip to Oregon. We're partnering with Landmark Tours. They're up in the Minneapolis area. So we'll take the bus up to Minneapolis and fly out to Portland. I've actually been on a Northland trip before to Oregon. It is a beautiful state if you haven't been there. Crater Lake is just unbelievable. It's so beautiful. On this trip, we go mostly along the coast of Oregon, so there'll be lots to see and do. So if you're interested in this trip, it's going to be a good one.
Okay, and then next up, the fabulous Finger Lakes of New York. Deb has put this one together. She partnered with a gal out of Ohio on a trip a couple years ago. She's a step-on guide type person, and she specializes in just a few different tours in the U.S. for different parts of the U.S. And she's very fun and energetic and really entertaining. So on the other trip that Deb had her along, she said, you should try these Finger Lakes of New York. So Deb said, okay, let's do it. So this one has 8 seats left. It's August 2nd to the 10th. It's motor coach out of Iowa. You're gonna go to Cleveland to the Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame and do a Lake Erie evening dinner cruise along the way. And then when you get out to New York, it's not gonna be the big New York City type of trip. This is more the rural areas of New York. You get to go to the Glenn Curtiss Museum, which is the aviation and motorcycling museum. This Glenn Curtiss was the founder of the U.S. aircraft industry. So I think that would be kind of interesting. You also get to go to a glass museum and do a tour, a castle. You get to take a lake cruise on one of these Finger Lakes, a little scenic cruise. Also, you get to go on a paddle wheeler, so that's a different type on one of these lakes. And then after you leave that area and on the way home, you'll get to go to the Flight 93 Memorial Site in Pennsylvania. Also, a mine rescue site in Somerset, Pennsylvania, where there was a mining rescue over 3 decades ago, I guess. And I guess that's pretty interesting to see and hear all about that. So there's 8 seats left on that tour. Next up in September, Deb has a trains, trams, and trolleys tour in the Great Southwest area. This one has 2 seats left. We had 2 people sign up this morning, so there's 2 more left. This one does a lot of trains, like Durango to Silverton, that train out in Colorado. The Royal Gorge train, which is very beautiful. You get to go through some train yards even and do some touring. You'll get to go on a Jeep tour in a sand dune area. You also get a tour of the oldest state capital in the U.S., Santa Fe, New Mexico. A trolley tour in Albuquerque. So lots of fun and scenic things out in that area.
Okay, then in October, I'm headed out east to New England and Cape Cod. We will fly from Des Moines. We'll fly out to Portland, Maine. Spend a couple nights there. We'll go into New Hampshire, the White Mountains, take the North Conway Scenic Railroad. I always say this one wrong. Kankananga Scenic Highway. That should be on the spelling list. And so the leaves should be beautiful this time of the year. From Portland, we'll head down to towards Plymouth. We'll take a day tour in Boston, a city tour, which would be a walking tour of historic Boston. We'll go to Plymouth, Pawtuxet. We're going to take a little seagoing vessel and go out and hopefully see some whales. Go to Plymouth Rock. Get out on Cape Cod, clear up to the tip at Provincetown, have lunch out there, see some of the communities along the way where the rich and famous have their summer homes. One day we'll take the ferry over to Martha's Vineyard, which is a darling little island. See some of the old towns there, a lot of gingerbread, fancy houses there. We'll head over to Newport, Rhode Island, along the Ocean Drive there. We'll see some of the glamorous mansions from the Gilded Age. I know some of you might be watching that. I think it's on Netflix or one of those, yes. And we will actually tour the Breakers Mansion. We will get to see how the other half lived. And we'll go into Old Sturbridge Village in Massachusetts, Old History Museum in there, and then fly home from Boston. So that's in October, and I think there are 6 seats left on this one.
If you'd like to get away a little bit further south to celebrate an early Christmas, Deb has planned and will host the Branson 6-Day Christmas Tour. There's so many great things to do in Branson, and looking at the agenda, Deb's done a great job picking some of the best ones. The ones I've personally been to, the Haygoods, have been around for probably 30 years now. They started out Silver Dollar City when they were just like in grade school. Now they're all adults, and they're one of I'd say they're the most popular show in Branson. Texas Tenors, they're extremely talented. They always do a Christmas show for Branson. So that will be a really good show. No planes involved. It's a strictly bus trip. And that will be an excellent trip with Deb. Another option for celebrating the holiday a little early, in Branson, Christmas starts November 1st. So the whole town is decked out. For the Smoky Mountain Christmas, that one's scheduled for December 1st through 9th. 9 days, no planes involved there, just a bus trip. And Deb always finds great things to do when you stop along the way, going and coming back home. Pigeon Forge, Loretta Lynn, Franklin, Tennessee, just beautiful areas to visit. Dolly Parton's Christmas Stampede is the same show basically as you get in Branson for Christmas. And Dollywood is similar to Silver Dollar City if you've ever been to Branson there. So Deb has a great agenda for everyone to join in there. That's 9 days, so it's a little bit longer than the Branson trip if you're looking to be in warmer weather to celebrate pre-Christmas.
And then in December, this was one of my bucket list ones. This one is sold out. It's a wait list only. But if you're interested, put it on your bucket list and we can look at doing it again in the future. This is a Rhine cruise on the Rhine River, flying to Zurich, and we go up to Amsterdam, stopping in various ports in Germany and France and in Amsterdam, and go to all the Christmas markets all set up, the little kiosks and the lights. If you've watched any Hallmark movies, you know what I'm talking about. But like I said, wait list only, but if you're interested, put it on the bucket list, and we can look at doing another one of these in the future.
And I'm gonna invite Steve Earhart to come up from Friendship Haven and talk about the tours that we put together for him.
So we got a lot of things that the Friendship Haven residents are into, and first thing we're going is April 7th. How many people have heard about the Collinsworth Family Christian Music? They are going to be doing a show at the Des Moines Franklin Center, and we're going to take a tour of the Des Moines Botanical Center. How many people remember the banana tree in the middle of the Botanical Center? That's all gone. The tree got way too tall. They had to cut it down, so they redid the Botanical Center. So we're going to that. We have a few seats left on that. And April 23rd through the 26th, we're going to the Branson Music Fest. And if you don't know what the Music Fest is, on Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon at the Clay Cooper Theater, every theaters in town is invited to come and do a 15-minute mini show. So you'll see 7 or 8 different acts each afternoon. So by the time those 2 afternoons are up, you've probably seen 16 samples of different shows, everything from country music to magic. Unbelievable. But first night we're going down so we can see the Texas Tenors again in person. They were on Iowa Public Television. just the other night, and they're going to do a show in Branson. The Sound Insight Theater is working on a movie, so be sure and watch for it coming out Easter week. It's called A Great Awakening, and we're going to attend the premiere down in Branson, so that should be fun. Another thing that we're doing is the Super Sweet Trolley. So we contacted the trolley company, and they're going to give us a city tour of Branson, stopping at a bakery and a candy store. So that should be a fun day. We also have reservations. We don't have all the final details, but we're going to Okoboji Summer Theater on July 11th. And we have reserved seating for Sister Act. How many people remember the nun dressed up, but she really wasn't a nun? Okay, that's the one we're going to. So while we're there, we're going to tour the Iowa Rock and Roll Museum and the Iowa Great Lakes Maritime Museum. For your adventurous people, the residents wanted to go to Africa, so this year we're going July 23rd. We'll be going to South Africa and Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls is 5 waterfalls that merge together. It's the largest waterfall in the world, so we're spending 3 days there. And from there, we're going to go down to Cape Town and a lot of the national parks, and we're going to do several safari rides through the countryside. And we are not sleeping in any tent, whether it's air conditioned or not. We are sleeping in hotels, and it already warned us when the elephants come up to drink out of the outdoor swimming pool, don't be afraid, just let them do their thing and they'll leave, and then you can return to the swimming pool. So that should be interesting to watch how that all works. And in October, we're going to the best of the Eastern Canadian cities. We're going to fly to Niagara Falls, and we're going to do the Canadian side. And this is for the leaves. We're going to do Quebec City, Heritage Farms, and Thousand Island Boat Tour, and the Maple Sugar Shack. And that should be an interesting one in October for the fall. We have material up here. If anytime you want to go or be on Fringe of Haven's mailing list also, just let us know.
Okay, so we're ready to start 2027. And I'm going to start 2027 in February with an 8-day adult spring break. We will fly to Panama City, Panama. We're not going to Florida. We're going down to Panama. We'll take a partial cruise of the Panama Canal one day. We'll spend time at the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And after 3 days in Panama City, then we'll take a short bus ride over to the Pacific side. And we will spend 3 days and nights at an all-inclusive resort. So if all you want to do is lay by the pool and catch some rays and be out of Iowa's cold weather, this is the trip for you. So it's February of 2027.
All right, that sounds inviting to me. Okay, next up is an American Cruise Lines Mississippi Riverboat Cruise from Memphis to New Orleans. This one will be April 12th to the 21st. We'll fly you from Minneapolis down to Memphis. And then we'll have an overnight there. It's a pre-night before the cruise. You'll get to have a tour of Memphis and all that it has to offer. And then you get to stay at the Guest House Hotel, which is a real unique, elite hotel that's an all-in tribute to Elvis. So that sounds kind of fun. And then you'll board the American Splendor riverboat, and you'll have stops along the way in Cleveland, Mississippi, Vicksburg, Mississippi, Natchez, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Oak Alley, Louisiana, and then it'll end in New Orleans. So you'll have unique stops along the way that you can go do some different little excursions and things at the different stops. This one, we will have the airfare portion available probably around the end of June. So if you want to sign up early to get your deposit in for the cabin space that we have 7 cabins left on this one right now. We can get your deposit and get you locked into that. And then when the airfare comes out, If something changes, you know, we can work around that. So anyway, that's the riverboat.
Okay, in May, I'm gonna head east, I'm staying in the country for a little bit. We will fly from Des Moines to Washington DC, and this is with Mayflower Tours, we partner with them, so when we get to DC, Mayflower will pick us up, there'll be a bus and that, welcome dinner, and then one day, we will do Arlington National Cemetery, the changing of the guard, we'll go down to Mount Vernon, one of the evenings, we'll take bus ride and see the monuments lit up at night, we'll do that. We'll head over to Lancaster area, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We'll stop at the Dutch Apple Dinner Theater, and we'll go to Hershey, and we all know what Hershey is famous for, chocolate. So of course there will be chocolate, I'm sure, available. We'll go to the museum on Chocolate Avenue, and we'll spend some time there. Then we'll head over to Harrisburg and learn the history of the battle between the states at the National Civil War Museum. And head to Gettysburg. We'll spend time in Gettysburg at the National Military Park. We'll see if you remember from your history classes. I know it was only a few years back for most of us, right? We'll see where Pickett's charge was, the battlefields in Gettysburg. We'll have lunch at the Dobbin House Tavern. And let's see, we go over to Manassas, the Battle of Bull Run, the historic Chatham Manor. Those are in Virginia. We'll head down to historic Tredegar with some museums there. We'll see where George Washington grew up. And we'll do the Civil War Center, the museum, and the White House of the Confederacy. And then head back into DC and fly home. So that's in May of 2027. And then in June, I'm headed across the pond. We're going to Italy on a Shrines of Italy pilgrimage. We did a pilgrimage this past October, excuse me, and I've had people asking, can we do another one? Go to some different sites. So we're going to go to Italy. We'll go to Rome, and we will be in Rome long enough to see the 4 major basilicas. A lot of quick tours, Italy tours only get you into St. Peter's. We'll be there on a Wednesday, so we would be there to attend the papal audience. We'll check out the Vatican Museum, the Sistine Chapel. We'll bus down to Monte Cassino, which is a World War II site, very important battle site, plus the Abbey of St. Benedict is there. We'll head over to San Giovanni Rotondo, which is where Padre Pio lived and worked. His shrine is there. St. Michael's Cave is just down the road from there. It's this huge underground cave. Very easy to get into, but yeah, it's really huge. St. Michael is said to have appeared there. We'll travel up the Adriatic coast. We'll stop in Lanciano, which is the site of the Eucharistic miracle. Loreto, where the Holy House is. We'll stop in a little town called Montepello, where Veronica's Veil is. We'll go to Assisi, home of St. Francis of Assisi, St. Clare, St. Carlos Acutis. And we'll go over to Siena, St. Catherine's area, and fly back out of Rome. So fly in and out of Rome, and the rest of the time is on a bus. So, and that will be in June of 2027. Then in late summer, we're looking at September. We're working with Colette. Definite dates and pricing is not available yet. But once again, I'm going to hit a little history. We're going to do Normandy Beach and the D-Day sites, some of the museum and the battlefields there. We'll tour Versailles, go along the Loire Valley, 2 nights stay in the chateau. We'll get into Paris, take a cruise on the Seine River, supper at the Eiffel Tower, and a whole bunch of other things. Do not have a brochure available on this one yet. So if you're interested in this one, put that on the I would like more information list. As soon as we get definite dates and pricing, we'll get that sent out to you. But that would be in the fall of 2027.
Okay, and then Deb is working on 4 more trips in 2027. One to Kentucky, that'll be in the summer. One Circle, Michigan, including Mackinac Island, that will be in the fall of 27. And then her annual Branson trip is the first part of November, and then she'll do Nashville Christmas in early December. So these trips would also be something you could put on that list if you want more information. As soon as she has those finalized, then she'll send them out to you. And then we want to remind you that Northland Travel is a full-service travel agency. We do book individual travel as well as all these wonderful group departures. So if you ever need assistance, please give us a call. We're happy to help. And we want to thank you for joining us today. Anything that you sign up on for any of these group tours by April 2nd, we will add an extra $25 per person discount to that. And if there is an early booking discount also that's currently available, you can not only have the early booking discount, but also the extra travel show discount of $25 off per person as well. So we're going to draw for a couple of prizes quick.
Nancy and Tim Sullivan. Oh, yay. And Barb Burkett.
Awesome. So we got some great chocolate truffles for you. All right. So the staff will be around here for a little while. So if you have questions, please let us know. There's more cookies over there if you want another cookie. And thanks again for coming out today.